What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review possibly like the debut project by A-Rab. Basically this project is called A-Rab Money and it came out in the spring of 2009. So the thing about this project here is just the fact that A-Rab was basically Soulja Boy's wingman in like the late 2000s. Bears like that. He was, particularly from what I remember, pretty much one of the few guests on Soulja Boy's breakout 2007 album, SouljaBoyTellHim.com. I want to say he was at least on like the song Yaw as far as was pitching gonna happen. The Yaw Trick, that particular song from one of the singles from Soulja Boy from 2007. And I think there was another single possibly from 2007, early 2008 called Pass It to A-Rab, which particularly tried to showcase A-Rab. But for folks who kind of wondered what happened to that particular dude, because A-Rab was not really on Soulja Boy's 2008 album, Soulja Boy Tell Him, is kind of the pitch that he kind of dissipated after like the 2007 years. I think he was also on like Soulja Boy's earlier in 2007 album, which I forget the name of that particular album, but I reviewed it back in 2023. Some excellent type pitches. I want to say I gave that over a 9 out of 10. But just kind of within the product, that this is like an offshoot of like the Soulja Boy type style, which is some excellent type pitch, just as like a format for folks who may not remember that A-Rab had a lot to do with Soulja Boy in like those early years, at least the 2007 years as far as this pitch can happen. Now I look after it. The unfortunate thing is there's not a single song where Soulja Boy is on this particular product, and really A-Rab does not really mention Soulja Boy whatsoever by this stage. So I think then the appeal behind it, I'm not sure if A-Rab had a falling out with Soulja Boy, some of those pitches. I think it probably was in some sort of hip hop headlines, like a minor sense back in those particular days, but just within the pitch, for the most part, for a good sense, A-Rab was kind of seen as like not so much Soulja Boy's weed carrier, but definitely one of his primary wingmen as far as this pitch can happen. It's just unfortunate that he did not make it to the point. It's unfortunate that Soulja Boy did not really have like collaborations with him up to the point where he started his solo career, but still excellent pitch. Classic mixtape here. Recommend all 14 of the songs. There are actually songs in here, so easy enough. Gets a 10 out of 10 just in those pitches. Is basically consistent styles. Has some similarities to folks like has some similarities to late 2000s, early 2010s mixtape rap from Atlanta like Fast Life Youngsters, OJ the Juice Man, and like Roscoe Dash, some of those particular type folks. Not as full-bound hooky, but within a pitch of just like that relative type format. There are a few couple amounts of guests on here, but they're not. I think they're probably just low-key within pitches like that. Not to say like it's not in terms of quality, but just the pitch as far as saying it's just an aspect here. It's basically just like getting a mixtape from like the similar type product. I think the aspect behind it is A-Rab keeps the same similar style like Soulja Boy within those type pitches. Maybe not as full-bound dance crazy within pitch, but it does have some relative varieties of it that's pretty interesting just within pitch as far as getting towards it. I'm real surprised that it is a relatively large disappointment that there was not the consistent affiliation to have been able to got this to have it have some more bolsterment, because I wonder some of the folks that Soulja Boy would have fucked with in 2007, 2008 that A-Rab could have fucked with this well to have really had this be more blossom. It's not like it's a bad product, but it's just kind of the pitch that this is good stuff on here, but in terms of like the commercial aspects, I feel like for the most part, most folks are probably going to say that they're not going to know. Like there's just not. It's not like it doesn't have the hits. It's just kind of aspect as far as saying when it comes to like trying to have the commercial bite about this product. I feel like in terms of like the standout type moments that would have something as far as folks saying this is the most popular song or this one is, just the aspect behind like the flair behind it. I think most folks would say, oh hey, this feels like Soulja Boy, and think, oh yeah, I remember that dude. He was on like those Soulja Boy songs from like the very early days. And it's kind of the pitch, not having enough real leg room to be able to say that he could get some further aspects as far as being able to have more notoriety within the pitch, which is not a horrible thing within the full boundness, but it's just kind of product. This is really not that easy to find of a mixtape. Really, the download link is not really that commonplace available, and it's really only available in like a few spots on YouTube. So I would definitely lap up these songs where they're still available within the relative type pitch, because I just feel like the thing about trying to, the number of things about A-Rab for one thing is just the fact that that particular name, just within the pitch, you basically have to punch in Soulja Boy with A-Rab to be able to find this particular cat that they're talking about. And then on top of that, the fact that he named his debut mixtape A-Rab Money, that's basically a Busta Rhymes song. So most of the time Google or some of those type places are just going to refer you to A-Rab Money by Busta Rhymes, thinking that that's what you're talking about. But the factoid behind it is this was a product and it just has the appeal, but without Soulja Boy's kind of affiliation or any big names to really help him out, it feels like lost product. But I wouldn't pay attention too full bound to that. It's just the pitch. It's just a little bit heavier to kind of sift through within the product. Like I said, there's no big names on here, no 2 Chainz or Fast Life Youngsters or folks like that could anchor this product to have something to have it like a relatively larger type pitch. But it is going to get a classic score. It's just the pitch is tougher to find. but it is worth it. There's 21 songs on this mixtape, but minus like the intro, outro, and like the 5 skits and things like that on here, it narrows it down to 14. Recommend all 14 songs. So just would have to say, just going down the list with some of these, just like 16 Heavy Bars is a nice one. It's like an oozing and a gas kind of night shift sludge kind of get here. Just a mini Recession like tune within pitches like that. By mini Recession, I mean just like Jeezy's Recession from late 2008 just has that kind of a gas kind of leeriness within the aspect of some of those type moments from Jeezy's 2008 album. It's like some good air and commerce I'd say here, and this song shrieks pretty well within the aspect behind it. So just the pitch. There's some moments on here like Cash Up, 16 Heavy Bars, I'd say like My Job, some of these type ones. I think the relative product, considering that I think A-Rap was from Atlanta as well within those pitches, there just were some records that were pretty dominant in like the late 2000s pitches like that, like Jeezy's Recession, and probably say like some of the stuff that Gucci Mane was doing. I mean, this has a pretty good taste, like the aspect of what was going on. This came out in the spring of 2009, which is kind of a little bit before. That was as like Dat Piff was really starting to take off pitches like that. I mean, it was happening in 2008 as well, but just within the pitch behind this kind of had like this particular kind of had like a good year or so head start on some of the pitches as like Dat Piff really started to explode in pitches like that within those appeals, at least in terms of new content that wasn't more like Lil Wayne dedication like this within the pitch. As far as again, that was 16 Heavy Bars is a nice one. Baby I'll Be Home Tonight is a nice one as well. It's like an early bird to 2010s Dat Piff kind of Bay Frolic pitches like that. This particular song reminds of Roscoe Dash. So it's within the appeals as far as saying if you like some of those type tunes, it's kind of, this one has some commercial relative bite about it, but it has that like, it has some good commercial bite about it within an aspect, but it just has that ATL sheen as far as those first can happen. So just paying attention. Fast Life Youngstas, the folks that did Party Like a Rockstar, the Shop Boys, some of those type folks, just that commercial bound kind of ness that just feels like kind of just feels ripped out of Dat Piff Atlanta sound out of like 2008, 2009, 2010 pitches like this. Just kind of forming just stock and typical. That's the thing. I mean, A-Rap definitely has some good stuff within these pitches, but it's just kind of the product. It just has a little bit more adaptation because there's just not the big names on here. It's kind of something kind of in if you know type territory. You have to kind of seek it out more so than like the concept of just having like, I just don't think, I mean, there are some excellent songs on here that do get pretty tore up within a pitch, but it's kind of the product you have to search for this a little bit more so than like the product of just saying that there's going to be songs that are going to say, oh hey, do you know about that A-Rap song pitches like that. So it's just doesn't have as much word of mouth within the tone behind it, but it's not like it's bad. The Takeover is a quality one as well as like a vintage kind of 2010s Young Money and Fast Life Youngsters type vibes about this particular song. It's like a hit ATL tape pitches like that. It's pretty good hustle bop to kind of get here. So just the moment, for the most part, this album has a lot more embrace. This is a pretty good house party type project, I'd say, within the pitch. Definitely feels like a localized type fashion, more so than Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy in 2007, 2008, 2009 was more of like kind of more dance venue pitches like that to kind of bust move some of those type pitches. But I feel like A-Rap in a sense kind of has more of like the house party kind of red cup type sludge pitches like that with some excellent type appeals. Just being able to get to some of those type moments. There's some ones on here. This feels more red cup compared within like the pitch, which is definitely a pretty good type factor. But there are like the occasional moments for like leftover makeshift and like some pitches of like probably like the relief of just got done with things for like 545, 645 pitches like that. I'd say that pretty much like the Takeover is one of those type ones, and like a pitch that just feels ripped out of Young Money, like songs like Bedrock and some of those type ones off the We Are Young Money album pitches like that. I'm So Swagged Up is a nice one as well. This feels ripped awesomely out of like late 2000s kind of days pitches like that in terms of rap and Dat Piff type noise pitches like that. Good MySpace rap to be able to get here. Some of those type pitches, just some of those promo type songs that you would have heard late 2008, 2009, some of those type fairs. Kind of some good makeshift relief. Also, I'd say within the pitch behind a pretty lit type one. So just kind of promo type step out within the pitch, just feeling snazzy pitches like that. Just having like some good, not so much full bound composed, but just a little bit more graceful within the sense of just looking spiffy. Some of those type products that just having like some good kind of adorned step out as far as this pitch can have. So just with an aspect as far as getting towards it. Let My Rims Spin is another makeshift one that has some good appeal about it. It's like a late day kind of cruise around, I'd have to say here. Just wrap up like leftover work shift. It's a good song to wrap up leftover work shifts pitches like that, I'd say. Just some good embrace within those conics of like 445, 515, some of those type pitches, I'd say. Good song to grab some good. So this is just a product. I feel like the aspect behind some of these is not so much like the work shift of like, damn, this work today sucked within those pitches, but actually the format of like, alright, it has a pretty straightforward just flip mode as far as like, alright, that's done, let's go figure out what's next within some of those type tones as far as like just saying like box of beer is like 8-minute, 12-minute drive away pitches like that. It's kind of the format as far as just saying, hey, I've already got folks dialed up as far as the pitches, what's going to happen. Pizza's just 30 minutes from now as far as those pitches going to happen. kind of within the form. So it just has good type tones. Definitely like the product to just get into the embrace of this particular project here. It's a pretty social type aspect within this tone of this mixtape. It's good type pitch. Me with the Aliens is a nice one as well. It's like a homebound kind of kickoff, I'd have to say, just some local kind of smoke pitches like that. Just kind of social ruminate, I'd have to say. But the concept, there's not a ton of rumination on this product, but it's just kind of some rumination as far as just like spare thoughts within the pitch, and just having folks around, maybe like a couple homies or pitches like that, as far as figuring out what's going to happen. Flip the TV on, cook some food, some of those type pitches, just extra type fare where you are. Be kind of the product of having to host things and some pitches like that, kind of show off like the pitches of just how you get down some of those type fares, just when the product is getting ready to get towards like some good commerce of just like festivities, pitches like that. Good type pitch. I do like a lot of these neighborhood type songs on here. Ching-a-ling is a real nice one for some of those type ones. It's like a stock kind of red hot neighborhood noise kind of get within the pitch behind it. Just like round the block, kind of gather up some of those type tones. By gather up, I just mean get composed, figure out the product, what's going to happen, get some money together, figure out what's going to happen. Gather up product definitely within the pitch. Smoke real nice as far as those pitches going to happen within the in-between. Like I was saying, there's a series of songs that just feel like Recession, kind of house party type noise pitches like that, just with hella red cups, some of that particular type fare. It's really getting towards the product, having some swashiness within the aspect of just having some tipsy type fun within pitches like that, or just the aspect of just having like some good social pizzazz, just some aspects behind getting some hella good dap, just the pitch of just getting towards like good activity for commerce and pitches like that. So good type fares. Cash Up goes along with that as well as like a shrill kind of vintage ATL kind of trap burner, kind of get off these aspects here. Just like a good get loud kind of house party blitzing, I definitely say within the pitch behind it. Surprisingly vicious for the tone of this album as far as these fares going to go. The song is surprisingly vicious for the tone of this album as far as these fares going to happen just within the pitch. And it's a little bit different from Soulja Boy, considering this might have been one of A-Rab's debut kind of projects here. It's just within the pitch as far as saying it just has the aspect just within the tone that just feels like on the same kind of realm and kind of aspects of folks like Jeezy and Gucci Mane and Rocco and some of those type folks that like it really, there are some snap and ringtone kind of rap songs on here, but for the most part it just kind of transfers pretty quickly to just like late 2000s trap within some type pitches within the format. So it's just some good type of appeals. This feels like something that's like a mixtape version of Recession and like Rocco's Self-Made, some of those type ones, pitches like that. Just within those fares, good aspect for some of those. Good aspect for like those appeals, but this is a house party type heater within pitches like that. Just has that particular tone, just like some tear up. On Fire is a nice one as well. It's like a grand kind of night venue banger to get. This gives like offshoot kind of Soulja Boy kind of dance vibes, pitches like that, and it's like some snap leftovers. So there is some relative product to that, but for the most part, snap and ringtone rap had pretty much phased out pretty damn. For the most part, snap and ringtone rap was really starting to phase out by mid 2009, pitches like that. But it's just when the pitch like some leftover type vibes, is like a throwback to some of those type of appeals. Definitely, I feel like A-Rab has the ability to nail Soulja Boy type vibes, so it's an excellent type pitch, despite the fact that Soulja Boy once again is not on here, but still some good products of getting some of that type fare that just his wingman could kind of do within those aspects as well. Just to Customers, another nice one within those pitches as well. It's like a throwback to mid 2000s snap and ringtone heat, just like On Fire, some of those type pitches like I was saying. Good dance floor tear up to kind of get here. Great song to get torched to, pitches like that. Just the aspect of really having some smoke type fare just within the product. I mean, I feel like this goes as like an excellent 1-2 punch kind of combo. If you want something like Soulja Boy, but Soulja Boy himself is not so much getting tiresome, but you just have an assload of those particular songs. Just a good type pitch to get something within that relative as like a cousin to that particular style that has like some extra fares for that. So the A-Rab, I mean, there's not a ton of these moments on this particular product, but there are a few just to be able to have that same type flair for like some of those same dance night and ringtone type fares. Good type pitch. I don't know if I've talked about Run the Game, but this is a nice one here. It's like a routine kind of dope early 2010s mixtape drifting, kind of get within these aspects here. Just get crunk, kind of map out some house party fun within those pitches behind it. So this extra type of appeal, that same sort of Recession kind of ground level house party type format would be amidst Run the Game within those pitches behind it. That same sort of aspect there. It's kind of drift around just night weaving pitches like that. Just some good type products that amidst like the commerce and just like that typical kind of shrillness, a good aspect there. Say My Name is a nice one as well. It's like a typical kind of evening drifting kind of get. Just get some errands done, some of those particular type moments. Plot amidst like some extra time, I'd have to say here. Just kind of smoke some spare ones as far as this pitch kind of happens. If you kind of have like some spare backwoods just within the pitch, it just like something that probably wasn't going to happen normally. It was just kind of the pitch as far as saying just extra time. Just in this kind of a moment that just feels extracurricular within the formats. Just kind of in between, kind of conduit within a sense, but it's just a good product to kind of get some stuff done. Just have the task behind it. Or it's not so much like house party type sludge pitches like that, and it's not really amidst like the full bound kind of lunch rush or hustle type fare of like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock p.m. It's just kind of pitch as far as probably like I would say within more or less just kind of like 5:45, 5:30 pitches like that where things might still be open. Just the pitch of just getting like some last minute tasks kind of roped in just within the conduit of just kind of here to there type moments of just figuring out, but it's not so much full bound kind of amidst like the product of like the day fare. It's just kind of, it just At least in my opinion, it just feels like the concept of this kind of moments that are just, in my opinion, it kind of feels like it has like some extracurricular type conduct about it. But that's just the pitch behind this extra type fair. I don't know if I talked about my job either, but this is another nice one. This like a Nagast and Stark kind of night commute to kind of get within these aspects. Just a snack run and homies basic kind of dap, I'd say, within those pitches like that. It's kind of a sociable type one. A little bit more products of having some extra pals just within the pitch. Not so much house party bound, but just within the pitch of this extra type fair, just going through places, pitches like that, going picking up like y'all getting like a batch of Swishers or like a couple packs of donuts, some of those type pitches, just kind of some weaving and just overall socials with the aspects behind it. Yeah, so my job is just fun with pals as far as those pitches can happen. Just some stunt, it's kind of some stunt evenings just within the product of basic kind of night weavings, just some of those particular type, some stunt evenings just to miss the product of like weaving around at night pitches like that. Just kind of extra activity within some of those type fairs, but just some fun with it. Just kind of social kind of bite and sparkiness within some of those type aspects. Good type tone, has that same recession type flavor pitches like that. So good type tones. And say where are they at? I think this is one of the last ones I haven't talked about on here. Maybe I haven't talked. I think I did talk about just a customer, but where they at is like a syrupy kind of evening primer for later on. I'd say within pitches like that, it's kind of a loud pack, kind of buzzing excitement to kind of get here to some in between kind of fun. So it's just the pitch as far as saying maybe just waiting for the pizza to show up, or maybe y'all are getting ready to purchase like maybe y'all are getting ready to hit up like the video store, some of those type of products, are getting ready to pick up a movie or just something to figure out what's going to happen within the next good while. This is the product of just like kind of where it has like the excitement where it's not boring to the pitch, where it's just kind of not doing anything. But it's just kind of product is not as crazy as moments like just a customer and I'm fire and ching-a-ling and cash up and some of those type ones. It's kind of some percolate type noise as things kind of get more acclimated and kind of commerce within those pitches as far as this fair is going to happen and accumulated within pitches like that. So it's good type tones. So I think that basically covers it as far as those fairs going to happen. Like I said, I think I talked about just a customer, but I'll talk about that one more time. If I did talk about it, I'll just cut this out. So just a customer is like a throwback kind of mid 2000s snap and ringtone heat to kind of get here. Is Dance Floor Tear Up and this good song to get tortured. So I think I did talk about this one. This kind of product of extra Soulja Boy type vibes within the pitch as far as talking about like the fair. Just like something that really feels ripped out of 2006, almost that format. It is something that feels like it would have been by Jibbs or folks like that, Jibbs or Mims or Huey or DJ Unk, some of those type folks within the pitch. So it's good type fairs for that leftover type product. But yeah, this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10 just in the product behind it. Social score I would go ahead and give probably like a 9.5 out of 10. Now, I would give this a lot higher score, but this is kind of difficult to kind of get the aspect where this is good type music, but for the most part, I feel like nowadays, I mean, maybe back in 2010, 2014, A-Rap would have had some relative type of appeal for folks relatively knowing who he is, but it's kind of the pitch that for the most part, Soulja Boy and A-Rap were kind of tight for a little while within pitches like that, but it seemed like after 2007 or early 2008, A-Rap and Soulja Boy went separate ways. So it's just the pitch that it was good type fair that they were wingman pitches like that as far as those first having that initial kind of collaboration, but they just didn't last long enough to really be able to strengthen that concept. I feel like if A-Rap had been on I Soulja Boy Tell Him from 2008, it probably would have been further kind of excellent type fair, but I just feel like only being with Soulja Boy for like his before fame kind of album and then his one hit album and only getting on like one or two songs was just a lot earlier than it probably should have been within those pitches. So it's just the fair. I think folks could find this within a relative sense if you really look hard enough. I think vast majority of folks are going to be like, what the hell? You're going to be like, relative WTH, what the heck, what the hell, some of those pitches within the form. It's not like it's bad. I mean, it's definitely a classic type of appeal within the aspect, but it's just kind of the tone as far as saying it just doesn't have like the casual. I mean, the blitzers are on here. It's a pretty bounded kind of just house party and overall heat like that. Snack runs by the wazoo pitch like that. There's plenty of these moments that just really get crazed out in pitches like that, but it's just kind of fair. This doesn't have anything real commercial wise in terms of like the aspect of something that could distinguish A-Rap to be able to have something that really is like something that's going to be like that's going to really catch like grandiose kind of attention. It's just the pitch, so I just say 9.5, but it's not because of quality. So in terms of the future, apparently A-Rap has a number of mixtapes, pitches like that, so some excellent type fairs to be able to get to some of these. I'll definitely have to review some more of them, but I think the product of it is I would think within the fact behind it, it doesn't seem like Soulja Boy is going to be on any of these. Real unfortunate that he wasn't on this one even once to be able to have that fair. But yeah, I think basically this particular career of A-Rap is going to be sans Soulja Boy, which is unfortunate, but it's just within the pitch as far as him. If I can find an A-Rap project that has Soulja Boy on there, I'll definitely review that one as well. But I think it's not like it's a huge tumultuous disappointment. It's this kind of pitch. It would have been some bona fide extra type stuff to have gotten like some Soulja Boy beats at least on here, pitches like that for some further type tones. But it's excellent type appeal. I'll probably get to review more of these pitches like that, but this is a classic full bound within the pitch behind it. Definitely some vicious kind of snack run and recession. Definitely some kind of vicious snack run and just overall recession kind of house party type sludge and makeshift kind of leftovers pitches like that.